A huge Westbridge Hills welcome for episode 4 with me, Mr. Searley P. Right, yesterday we finished up buying field 20 down by the dairy. So, seeing as we've got the field now and the harvester is still going here on 16, I'm going to take the Deutz Far with the new seeder down to field 20. We'll get that set up and going, and then we'll come back and check on field 16's progress. It's weird because down on the ground this field looks quite big, quite wide, quite long. When you look on the map and you look at the kind of area, it looks smaller than 16, bizarrely enough. But never mind, it's another field, one I didn't have before. So, he's off and running. And I will now use the Schluter on the Fleet trailer. We'll see how it pulls it. Now, unlike all the maps I've been, the map I've been doing on the episodes on Bjornholm, the Down on the Farm series, where they're relatively smaller fields, I have adjusted them, I've changed them, I've made them more windy, I've added trees and that kind of thing. I don't think Westbridge Hills needs that. Westbridge Hills is a Midwest map, American, big open country, big open fields, big machinery. There's lots of room to turn your vehicles round, and realistically when you're cultivating, seeding, harvesting, you're going to have workers set doing jobs. So the gameplay on this is going to be vastly different to when I play on Bjornholm. I will be using workers a lot more. They will be going up and down the fields. There will be an element of me doing certain bits. I was very aware in the last episode I didn't actually do a lot myself. I set a lot of workers and I was kind of flitting between all the different bits, doing lots of little odd jobs here and there. So what I want to try and make sure I do in my episodes is actually do some of the work myself. Otherwise it's boring for me, it's boring for you to watch. So while they are now all off and running, the harvester is still going, it's just been emptied. I'm going to stick fertiliser down on this field. Again, it's one of those unorthodox kind of things. In real life you wouldn't. You'd probably cultivate it or plough it first, then you might fertilise it, manure, slurry, spray it with insecticides, pesticides, that kind of stuff, all the way up to when the crop's in the ground. Most people will seed, then fertilise. The game will allow you to do this. You can see straight away the colours changing. It makes no difference whether you fertilise before or after seeding. You will still get the double yield. Whether that's realistic or not, whether it's, you know, it's how it should be done in real life. I'm just doing the jobs that are kind of available to me at the moment. The seeder has a cultivator built in, so it cultivates and seeds at the same time. If it didn't and I had to cultivate, I would be cultivating now, and then I would probably do the fertiliser. Whichever way round, it doesn't really matter, but like I say, the purists amongst you may feel that this is not the way it's done. And I agree with you, I absolutely agree with you, it's not. And maybe that's something I need to look at, is when I'm doing these, is try to do it a bit more realistically. Seed first, then fertilise probably. I have tried turning down the crop growth. I was always in the habit of having it on fast, especially when you start off a map, because you want the crop grown quickly so you can harvest and then seed it and harvest and get as much money as you can. I have found that when you're seeding and crop growth is on fast, especially on these big fields, before you've even finished the field it's already growing on the other side, which is a bit weird. So I turned the growth down to slow. On some of the very big fields I will probably turn it off, seed it, fertilise it, then turn the plant growth back on. again just makes it a bit more realistic. So as you can see, I'm sort of bouncing between just checking on the different vehicles. The seeder's going fine on 20, harvester's going fine on 16, just been emptied again. Now we'll just go and pick up the sprayer again and get some more of this down on the ground. So plans for today: get this field finished, cleared. Hopefully I'm fertilising it now. Once the seeder's done on 20, get the seeder over here, seed this one, get the fertiliser from here over to 20 and fertilise that one. So hopefully by the end of the episode we should have 2 fields seeded, fertilised and growing again. So this one finished on 20. I've brought it over. It is now ready to start. I've done the headlands. Well, I've done this end, I haven't done the other end yet. And get this one going. I'm going to come back to this later and we'll do a little bit of seeding myself. Finish off this strip of fertilising on here and then I'll take the fertiliser down to 20. So we'll go. Harvester is done and unloaded into the Flegel. Only problem being the Flegel's full, and I think there's about 820 litres left in the tank of the harvester. So I'll probably take that canola off and sell it, and then empty the last little bit into the trailer, and I'll probably just dump that in storage for the time being. At least that way it's not sitting in the trailer, it's not sitting in the harvester. And then later on I can always go and collect it. It's only 800 litres, it's not going to make me a huge amount of money, but right, whiz this one down to field 20. I always find lining this up from in-cab a lot harder because the working width is, I try to kind of estimate it about 3 times the width of the tractor. If you come in from the side of a field, that's roughly where you can start. Roughly. Doesn't always work. It also depends on the size of the tractor, but it's an unusual looking tractor, the Schluter. I do like it, it's growing on me. I bought it, as I said in episode 1, the cost was only 27,000 to buy, and it's got 150 horsepower, so for the money it's just really well powered. And it's a bit of an ugly duckling. You kind of look at it and think, oh god, it's a weird looking thing, but it's good, I like it. Right, jump out of here. Not bad, not bad. I think I'll finish this one off. One more strip up on this one, and this will be this fertilised. Seed's already in the ground, and it's growing. So that's good. That's all on the way. Depending what happens time-wise. There we go. I couldn't believe in the last episode that I was harvesting away, having done the silage in the morning, literally starting at 5:30. Did the silage through with the time turned up to 15. It's only when I was doing some of the logging, I thought, I don't understand, if it's set in real time, how can it be 6 o'clock at night? And I realised I'd left the time turned up, which just can't believe I did that. Never mind. So back to real time. Oh dear. Anyway, the only times I normally increase the time speed of it is if I'm going to be doing silage selling and I need the hoppers to be digesting quicker, so I'll turn up to times 15, and I normally skip through the night. Sometimes I've worked into the night, sometimes I finish an episode and go off and do a bit of logging off screen. A bit of logging off screen. Anyway, that's done. Right, get it back. So there we go, seeding away quite happily. It's cracking on that field. Yeah, so I shouldn't normally. I don't normally turn the speed up. There was a bit of a hiccup yesterday, so a daytime cycle at real time, which should have taken me loads of episodes. I only barely got one episode done in the time, so this is the second episode in the same day span. So yeah, whoops, apologise for that. I will try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Anyway, drop off the fertiliser sprayer. It's a weird one, this one. It lowers fraction, but not to the ground. You have to drop it. Okie dokie. Right, back to the trailer. Right, I'll probably sell the canola now. That's full, so I'll go and get rid of that. Let's have a look and see who's doing the best price for canola. Animals all seem to be quite happy, they're doing fine. Never looked at that screen before. And we flick through. Right, where are we? Okay. Flour mill. Yep, flour mill's doing the best. I think that's actually not bad at all. Is it just over $1,200 a tonne? Wow, okay. Should be a nice little addition to the bank account. Okay, here we are at the flour mill. So let's see if it really is worth its weight in gold. So 32,000 litres. Should get somewhere in the region of 500. 38,000. 40. Ooh, okay, that's not bad at all. For one load, wow, okay. Cool. Definitely happy I've planted 2 fields with canola now. That won't be all the time. I'm not going to just do this map and only ever plant canola. But to get the finances up a little bit, it's the most profitable crop, to be fair. I would even plant maize or corn to do silage harvesting. Problem is I've got nothing to harvest it with. Yeah, I've got it on slow. I don't understand that, because that field's already growing. Right, turn the growth speed off. Finish the seeding. And then turn it back up again. It's really weird. I don't know why it started growing already. It shouldn't have done. It can't be because it's already fertilised, surely. That would be a bit weird. Quite intuitive of the game if it was. Anyway, right, let's get rid of this last 800 and something litres from the very awkward unloading. Okay, right, I'll drop this into the silo for storage. To be fair, not that I'm going to need to put anything else in this trailer between now and the next harvest. It's going to be canola again, to be fair. But just out of habit, I just always normally park them up empty. The amount of times I've left a little bit in, gone off to do a harvest and can't figure out why it won't unload into a trailer, or it literally is a tiny little bit in the bottom of a trailer just prevents it from doing it. Okay, well, apart from the unloading issues with the harvester, it's a good trailer, it's a good size. I may look at other alternatives, either changing the harvester. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be cheaper to change the trailer than it is to change the harvester, realistically. Way cheaper. Right, he's done. Pipe away, shut it all down, park up the harvester for another day. It's not the biggest or the fastest, but it does the job. And I would imagine when we progress through this gameplay series, we get into the really big fields and we've got bigger harvesters, we'll look back and think, God, I can't believe we ever used that. Right, I'm going to tidy this end up. I don't want this going over and destroying all of that. I know it will grow again, but it just seems a bit pointless reseeding a bit that's already been seeded. So I'm going to stick a couple more rows in, maybe 3 or 4 rows, to give myself a turning space again. But I won't be going over this crop. I think, to be fair, out of all of the 3 maps, including the gold edition with Sosnovska, this is the biggest field you start off with. Sosnovska's the tiny little one, as is Bjornholm. So, yeah, I suppose it's all relative though, because to progress in this one, to buy more fields, you need more money. At least on the other maps there are quite a few small fields you can get relatively quickly when you've built up a little bit of money. This one's far harder to do that. It's a challenge. I've yet to do a gameplay series, or even indeed play the game on hard. I haven't done that yet. Something maybe to do in my own time, do one of the maps on hard. I don't think it would be as exciting or interesting to watch, because it would take far, far, far longer to even build up any amount. I don't know, maybe that's what people want to watch, who knows. Right, I've been giving it some thought while I've been mooching up and down the field, doing a bit of seeding. Don't need the cultivator. I may need a cultivator at a later date. If I do sugar beets, if I do potatoes, if I do corn, I will need to cultivate the fields. But I'm not going to be doing that for a while. And if I do, I'm going to do it with a bigger cultivator, because this is tiny. So sell it. It's not going to make a huge amount of money, but it's just sitting there at the moment. It's just scrap metal, so might as well make a bit. A tiny bit, never mind. Right, that's that sold. Back to the field, let's see how the seeder's getting on. Nearly there. The things we do for those interesting camera angles, crouched in a field with oncoming traffic. It's one of those weird things. The little voice in my head is just saying to me, why have you crouched down? In honesty, I don't know. Doesn't matter. That made no difference to the way that the shot looked anyway, so... Anyway, nearly done. I'll jump back in. He'll be finishing off. And we can put that away. The sun is starting to set. 6:45 at night. Albeit a lot of the day was kind of skipped by. Right, to close this up. I will refill it before I put it away. More expense. It does pay for itself in the long run, I guess. Try not to smash into the sprayer, that would help, wouldn't it? That's as good as it's going to get for me, I think. Without crashing into the back wall. Okay. So, what I am going to do, my usual early evening logging. Now that's all done, 2 fields are seeded, fertilised and growing. I did cut down some trees earlier during the day while all the stuff was going on, I think in the last episode. So I'm going to take this up and load up and hopefully take a load of logs down to the lumberyard. So, as you can see, definitely the sun is going down now. 7:20 and I'm loading up the trailer with all the trees I cut down earlier. As I said when I did the episode the other day, I believe it was episode 2, I did logging late in the evening. I was cutting the trees into thirds or quarters, so they were only just about the same width as the trailer, and it was taking so long. So I decided that although it's unwieldy and probably incredibly unorthodox, I'm just going to cut them in half. And when you load them up with the skid steer, I'm making sure that I do kind of one way, one the other, so they kind of level them out. Otherwise you always end up thick to thin, and they all go sort of lean one way. I know it's probably standard practice and it's probably done all over the place. So I'm going to move this along, find some more trees and get a bit more load on here. Again, I'm going to have the cruise control knocked right down, start it up and then gradually notch up the cruise control so it's not too jerky, it doesn't flick stuff anywhere. That should be me done, fully loaded. I've done a fair old bit. Mind you, getting it to here, I thought I was going to lose it a few times. But this tractor has pulled this, really, considering the weight on it and the skid steer, it's done a really good job. Okay, so that's it. It wasn't a pretty sight unloading, same as before, rolling them all off the back. And again, not the done thing, but there we go. Finished day, up. Thanks for watching.